Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're tuning in. Thank you for stopping by the Martal Group Fireside Chats. Today, we're going to sit down with Shiv Kumar, the Chief Revenue Officer for AIShield. With 13 years of experience under his belt, Shiv has mastered the art of driving revenue growth in the AI and cybersecurity realm.
We strongly believe practitioners need to know more on AI security. There are a lot of questions and clarifications they would have. Even as part of our sales strategy, there's a lot of education and awareness that we do because people had no idea about AI security.
But don't just take my word for it. Without further ado, let's jump right into the chat. Hey everyone, I'm here with Shiv Kumar. Shiv is the co-founder and Chief Revenue Officer for AIShield, which is a startup of Bosch. I believe it was founded in 2020. Did I read my notes correctly? Is that correct?
2022.
2022. Oh, I was a couple years off. I'm switching up some numbers in my head here. But anyways, I'm here with Shiv. Shiv, really good to finally get a chance to meet you face to face and get a chance to, have you on here just for a little fireside chat, right? So just to kind of get started, if we could, I figured I'd turn it over to you, get a chance to kind of introduce yourself, for all the listeners that are out there. That way they understand who they're kind of getting a chance to hear from today. So if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into kind of Bosch and then AIShield and stuff like that.
So first of all, thank you, Chris. Very happy to be here. I think it's a great platform for somebody to speak on strategy, revenue, sales, AI, and cybersecurity all together. Very happy to be here. So my introduction, Shiv here, and I'm the co-founder and Chief Revenue Officer of AIShield. I take care of sales, marketing, and strategic partnerships at AIShield. We are an AI security startup, and I guess we'll delve into it very soon now. Overall, I have 13 years of experience into sales and consultative sales for emerging technologies, and I have worked on large system integration organizations as well as startups as well. I was also part of Accenture Consulting for majority of my time earlier, and I was specifically working at Accenture Ventures. So job was again with startups over there, but a little bit different. I was assigned the responsibility to specifically work into high-tech industry vertical and therein identify startups on some core ideas into that particular domain, build the product together, and then execute combined go-to-market strategy. So yeah, that's about me.
I love it. In 13 years of experience, that's some serious time kind of put into the industry, right? Specifically, it sounds like around a lot of tech, around a lot of startups, very AI centric and AI focused. And I know maybe this is just me personally speaking, but I know that kind of like approaching things from a startup perspective to me is more fun. That challenge is a little bit more fun because you get to take something and literally mold it. With maybe something that's existing or something that's already going on. It's kind of just like saying, here's the idea, use it to whatever it's there for. But with a startup, you're like, okay, what do you want done? What do you want to get done with this? What are our ideas? Nothing's off the table at this point. So I'm sure that you've had your fair share of those conversations throughout your years and whatnot. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here again. I'm excited to kind of dig into that just a little bit more here in just a few. But I do want to highlight Bosch and AIShield. Kind of starting with Bosch, if you want to. You've got like a quick rundown of who Bosch is, what Bosch does. Pretty massive company worldwide. So tell us a little bit about Bosch, Shiv.
Sure. So when you started and said that we started in 2020, you were not entirely wrong. So we are born out of Bosch, and at Bosch we have this practice of something called as taking innovation bets. And in 2019-20, one of the bets taken by our CEO Manoj was onto security of AI systems, and we get all the support necessary. So from the initial idea to its validation to building the first level of product, the MVP, that is what happened. And we did some use cases for internal Bosch businesses, and mainly coming from the Bosch strategic fields, they were into automotive and manufacturing sector. But very soon we understood that this particular product that we had at AIShield, which is on AI security, had huge potential outside. And that is where we approached our board, our leadership, to officially venture out and go for external business. So that's where last year in 2022, in May 2022, we were announced as a startup, and we separated out and completely focused on external businesses with practitioners, customers, and partners, and solely focus on our AI security product. And basically, the motto is securing AI systems of the world.
I love it. Okay, so this big mission that you guys have here, to secure the world. I mean, that's a great kind of like mission statement and catchphrase, if you want to call it that. And I'm sure that there's a lot that's involved from like a technical perspective on how that works. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about this, where AI in general, I is not a new thing. Right? AI has been around for years and years and years at this point, but it feels like a lot more companies are adapting and utilizing AI in different ways. And AI is becoming a tool for the average consumer to use all the time. So talk to me about that kind of like difference and that kind of like growth that you've seen over the past maybe 5-10 years or so, where AI, you guys are utilizing AI within security, but we've also got things like ChatGPT, which is very simple and on my phone at this rate. I can tell it to write me a short story, but you guys are doing stuff that's a lot deeper than that. So dive into that if you can.
Yeah, sure. So you're absolutely right. AI adoption, everything is related to AI adoption. Mm-hmm. But I would like to add one more parameter to it, that with AI adoption, the risks are also increasing. So when we look at the AI journey itself, just simplifying it, we can call it AI 1.0, which was basic statistics to rule-based implementations, where we were looking at analytics part of applications. From 1.0, we reached 2.0, which was all about machine learning, deep learning applications. And third is 3.0, which is effectively generative AI, its adoption. What we have seen is that with respect to the industry, as these AI adoptions increase, the risks are also increasing. The risk being that your AI application could be compromised. And when your AI application gets compromised, there are a lot of things which could happen. You could lose your business reputation, your brand reputation. You could lose the revenue because your application is not working. You could lose your competitive advantage because you have invested so much into building AI, and now it has been attacked. It has been stolen, something akin to software stealing as one of the examples. So because of these adoptions, the risks are also increasing. And that's what many practitioners always knew. And that's where a product comes in. But what happened with generative AI also, I would like to state very specifically that if anything generative AI has done, besides the news and nuance and the various happenings around it, it has brought the focus for AI security and safety aspects altogether. So that is where our product gets more and more better fitted in terms of providing security of AI systems, be it AI 2.0 to 3.0.
And that makes sense, with the growth and the adaptation of AI, right? And every business wanting to utilize it in some sort of way. It feels like there's two parts to it, right? There's the security side, which is what you guys are working on and making sure that, applications are locked down, making sure that everything's secure. But there's probably also an education side to this whole thing as well, which, where people are just learning about what AI can even do for them, right? And trying to figure out what these applications even look like. So do you guys have any part in that in terms of the education, trying to just like educate your partners or prospects or, whatever the conversation is on saying, hey, it's awesome that you have this. Here's what it can do, but here's where things can go wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we look at AI adoption, one of the core things to understand is when we say AI security of AI systems, there is not much know-how with respect to all the organizations or practitioners that are there. So that's why even as part of our sales strategy, there's a lot of education and awareness that we do. And we have created a lot of collaterals also in the same domain, because we understood very early when I started on AIShield business, my initial objective was basically go from 0 to 1 of AI security business. And going into the field, talking to a lot of prospects, I understood very early that it is not about that I just have a product and I give it to users to adopt, right? I have to make them understand why is it needed. So it is not the fact that in many places we say that you build it and people will come. It is not like that in AI security. And so
Right.
we have to do a lot of education and awareness, which means that there are different methods. You can offer trial to the users. For CXOs, you need to show the impact, that what happens when an AI application gets compromised. What are the revenue or cost impacts of that? We also are seeing regulations coming up. So what are regulations asking in AI security domain or the cybersecurity of AI systems, and how the product itself can help with that? So a lot of education awareness. There's a small change which we are now seeing, that when I started last year, let's say I was having 10 conversations, and 9 out of those 10 went into education and awareness, because people had no idea about AI security. But just in last 1.5 years, the industry and practitioners have come on board. So now, if I have to speak of the same ratio, it's 4 or 5 out of 10 where we are starting with the education awareness first, and then delving into what AIShield can offer. But yes, as part of the overall sales strategy, it is not just product-led sales where we have a product and we are pushing it. It is product-led sales plus a lot of traditional sales activities that we are doing, and education awareness is one part of that.
And that's good to, I think, not just for you guys, but kind of speaking a little bit more in general too, right? If a company, whether they're dealing in AI or they're dealing in something, any sort of like emerging technology, basically, I think it's very important to include an educational factor into the sales cycle. And I think that's kind of where I'm going with that thought there, is making sure that people understand, this is a cool piece of tech. Like, I can utilize this. I could probably do a million different things with it. Me personally, I use AI for, Photoshop manipulation. And I think that that's cool. But there's probably so many more ins and outs to the education side to help people understand truly what you can do, and to your point, the things that could potentially go wrong, or understanding the regulations on how to control certain things, or how certain things need to be built, utilized, so on and so forth. I'm sure we're not at the point yet with AI where we have to worry about a Terminator scenario or anything crazy like that, robots taking over the world, but these are all important factors, and probably very real factors, it sounds like, that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, because of how a lot of these things are progressing very rapidly. And a lot of that makes sense. And I think that anybody who's listening, should definitely take a look at that too, if they're trying to learn or they're trying to, sell something that's a piece of emerging technology. Education is a huge factor as a part of that. Now, I'm curious, because you guys utilize AI and AI security and concentrate on locking it down. But you, as the CRO, right, you're in charge of marketing and sales and strategic partnerships, and a lot of different hats that it sounds like you wear under one big one, right? How are you guys utilizing AI, if at all, within the sales and marketing tract? Are you guys utilizing AI to help you guys create materials, help you guys create conversations, or is it more or less saying, hey, this is the product we have, this is the education form we have, and we're trying to go out into the world? So what's that strategy like for you guys?
Different things. When we look at we ourselves using AI, yes, we are. And one always should, I must say. So we use a lot of AI-based tools as part of our sales and marketing tech stack. Different tools are there. And we also have AI component as part of our own product itself. So that is where the tools part come in, and we augment, right from anything related to email automation, lead generation, to content creation as well. So the first step is something that we always apply if you can use an AI or a tool as part of it, and then we also put in our efforts of contextualizing it further and improving it further. So that's the first part on the AI and tools part and using it. With respect to the different responsibilities, so there are 3 responsibilities: that's sales, marketing, and partnerships. I'll speak of partnerships first because you specifically said AI and tools. When we look at AIShield, we understood very early that it is not a one-man walk-alone scenario, because at the end of the day, you are providing security of AI systems. So you have to integrate with different ecosystems. So what we have done and gone ahead with is that we have partnered, and what I mean by that is AIShield as a product is integrated with various platforms itself who are providing cybersecurity, who are part of the AI MLOps lifecycle. We also have SIEM integrations in cybersecurity, and we have gone ahead and entered into integrations with various companies who are using some domain-specific things as well, be it testing, inspection, and certification, or any kind of specific industry domain like healthcare and finance. So that's on the partnership part. Internally, AI, then integrating with the ecosystem, finding the best partners. We have done that, and then coming to sales and marketing. In marketing, we have always been from the perspective of what is the best message for education and awareness, part one. And then everything in marketing revolves around using the product itself. So we have product demo and trials for initial customer acquisition, education, as well as them experiencing how the product works. And then, of course, the onboarding is also taken by product and the live part of it. When it comes to sales, that's a very different thing. There, I will say AI helps us to create the MQLs or the marketing qualified leads, I would say. But after that, it's all about a very hybrid strategy that we have adopted.
That's exactly kind of what I was going to ask next. So I don't know if you're reading my mind, but you're really good at this. What's that balance like then for your sales team? Because what I see, and I was joking with my internal team the other day about I received a cold call or a cold email, like much of us do, right? That was very over obviously written by AI. And it did not seem like a human touched it at all. It was like, hey, write me an email that's about this, and I'm going to send immediately that. Because it was packed with language that doesn't sound natural. It sounds overly formal, if that makes sense. So what's the split for you guys in your sales teams, whether you're creating copy or you're utilizing it to kind of gather leads and gather MQLs? What's kind of like the balance there? Is it like a 50-50? Do you try to rely on AI, maybe 65% of the way? What's that look like for you guys in your sales team?
When we look at this hybrid strategy, as I had mentioned, and you have picked up the right question, there are two aspects of it. One is when we look in the industry, we see a lot of B2C companies going by the product-led growth way, which means everything that they do from generating leads to converting them and then sustaining them, everything is built around the product that is there. And it can, at the end of the day, be an AI product. The second strategy, which we see in some B2B, I will not say all of them, because even some majority of B2B even use product-led growth. The sales-led growth comes in, wherein the majority of the work is happening from the sales development representative side. So there is more human intervention as part of sales-led approach, where you're talking to CXOs, you are gathering their problems and then customizing things all the way, and it takes more time to convert those leads as well. When we looked at AIShield and AI security, we understood very early that none of them individually is going to work with us, because relating back to the point earlier, there needs to be a lot of education and awareness, and so it cannot be product-led growth where you simply push a product and automate things around it and expect users to first use it and then buy it as well. And then it cannot be completely sales-led growth as well, wherein you are reaching out, writing these emails, and then customizing them and then getting into long conversations from demos to further contextualization of their use case and go forth. So what we did was a smart balance in this case, that use the best of the technology that we have. So we have a mature product. So some aspects of product-led growth and some aspects of sales-led growth. And we are effectively doing, which also is an industry term now, which is product-led sales. So we are mixing the tool prowess with the traditional sales part. So that is where, as I said, we can use a lot of automation, and we do, in fact, for generating marketing qualified leads. But there is another thing which comes in. It is not sales qualified leads, but product qualified leads. So the moment we get a connect or interest from somebody, we push the product to them. We ask them that they want to have a trial of this product, and many users actually do. And when they do the trial, the confidence comes in, and then they open up about their particular use case, that, okay, I wanted this feature, is it available or not? Or I'm trying to do it for this particular use case. And that is where a bit of sales intervention comes in. So it's a very hybrid strategy that we have adopted and which has in fact worked for us, which is a combination of product-led growth as well as sales-led growth.
I like that. I think that approach makes a ton of sense, specifically for you guys and like the industry that you're in, and the products that you have, and kind of the ways that you can utilize that. Like I said, it sounds like you wear a lot of hats, so I'm sure that juggling that tends to become a fun challenge. Let's call it, right. A fun challenge for you. Talk to me a little bit more like a personal level for you, right? You've had 13 years of experience, dealing with sales and marketing and partnerships and just a handful of other startups, things like that. What's your approach to your position? Do you find yourself being, very structured in your day? Do you find yourself, kind of like time blocking things off? I'm curious to know how you're able to do all of this at roughly the same time.
So that's a very interesting question, and I will speak in context of AIShield itself because you will get a lot of answers based on that. So, for example, you use the word structure, right? So yes, the structure has come in. If I have to define our journey in AIShield, it is all about adaptability. So last year, when I started, I was the only person who was responsible for the CRO function. So it was like the CRO organization only has one person. It was myself. So started like that. Initially, there was a lot of different initiatives being taken. When I started, I quickly to achieve 0 to 1. Exhausted all my personal network of introducing AIShield to them and see, how we can work together. I did try via various tools, for example, LinkedIn Navigator itself, which helped a bit. But very soon I exhausted these early measures, and that's when I went to the next step. So there was a one level of adoption, which was all around if I can leverage lead generation tools and teams outside. That is where I went in and I got specific teams to work with, especially in US and in Israel, and that started working. And then I realized that we were in the founder-led sales domain, so all the founders were doing everything, and that is when we realized that we will be very soon coming to the revenue stage, which we are now, and that is where we need to build the team. So I started hiring. So currently, the complete team is 5 people, myself and 4 of my colleagues. And when they themselves started, they also were doing every function. So it was not that like I was doing sales, marketing, and partnerships alike. They also started with that because we could not afford the luxury of, okay, now you have been hired, you are joining the team, you are very passionate about it, or let's say sales, so you take sales. We could not do that because we did not have the bandwidth to assign somebody, and we did not know what thing will grow at what pace. So we started like that, and then the adaptations came further. They showed that they have specific prowess into one domain, and that is where they took the lead and supported others in the other one. So somebody is taking lead in the business development, somebody is taking lead in the partnership management, somebody is handling the lead generation companies that we are working externally with, and that is where we came about. And we did adopt multiple things as part of tools itself. So we keep track via CRM what are our latest tasks. In fact, we internally have a priority matrix as well, which basically tells us, okay, if this deal is high priority, what are the actions to be taken? And that happens every day. We check that every day, that for a high deal priority, what are the actions to be taken and how can we respond to it in next 1 or 2 days max. So that is why slowly these processes are also coming in.
Yeah, so very much a you started from the bottom and now you're here type thing, right? Where you are very much like crafting and cultivating and building everything from almost literally scratch, right? What's the relationship then between, if you don't mind speaking to it, between AIShield and Bosch, right? Because you guys are kind of not quite rolled up underneath. You guys are a part of Bosch, right? And kind of a little bit of a spin-off there. But what's the relationship like between you guys and Bosch? Is it like a normal interaction where you're interacting with the main Bosch team every day? Is it more or less, you can pull resources from them, you can send customers to them if they need something from Bosch's core service? How does that all look?
So it's a little different. I perfectly understand these points and assumptions, but The reality is not entirely like that. So we are a core team of 25 people here in Bangalore. Yes, we have sales offices and our external lead generation companies, representatives in other countries as well. But we are a 25-member team. Yes, as a spin-off of Bosch. We do not share any resources. So all these
Okay.
25 people, they are spread across the AIShield business functions of product, technology, research, and business. All of them are not working on any other projects or collaborating with Bosch in terms of resource or any other technology or tool. When it comes to the customers, uh, we get a lot of got a lot of support from Bosch initially, because when we look at Bosch, there is a brand perception, there is the trust aspects, and we are building trust in AI systems. But the strategic fields are a bit different. As AI Shield, AI security, we are a horizontal function. So we have customers in banking and healthcare space, for example. But when somebody looks at Bosch, they think of automotive and manufacturing
Gotcha.
for the first instant itself. So we have completely taken a separate road since May 2022. Currently, we are working with 40 plus organizations within AI Shield, and all of them have come from AI Shield sales initiatives. They are no shade customers as such.
That's even more commendable than, to be able to be functioning, within your own space and your own resources. And again, just like you said before, right, being able to build everything from the ground up, expand your team, expand your offering, so on and so forth. I want to shift gears a little bit and utilize some of that. And I'm not asking you to give away the farm. I'm sure that you guys have your own like trade secrets or things, ways that you go about the sales and the marketing and utilizing tech, all that sort of stuff. But if you were approached by somebody who's looking to be either an AI startup of some kind or an emerging technology startup of some kind, what are some key like strategies or pieces of advice that you might give that person to try and help them out? What are some key things that you might be able to help them out with in terms of, say, hey, look at this first, or here's where I would recommend starting with this? So what does that look like?
One of the first things which comes to my mind is that from my own experience at AI Shield, I was very fortunate to have a strong product and technology team. So when I go and speak to customers, we joke around and we see some of the memes as well that the product team says that this feature is going to be in the roadmap, and sales says that this feature has already been sold to the customer. So, so we see a lot of things happening, and yeah, it works sometimes as well. But what I have learned is that if you have a very strong product technology and research team, it gives you a lot of benefit into sales conversions. Now, taking it, back in the timeline, because you said about starting, a startup and working on AI or cybersecurity teams. So that is where the first thing that even from a sales function should do is understand what the product is, or even before that, validate the idea and the product in the market. So initially, the focus should not be heavily on the revenue aspect, but heavy on the usage aspect, its validation aspects. That is the place where you have to find the personas. You will not find it in your first call. Okay, you theoretically doing inside, strategy workshops internally, you will define some things. You will define some assumptions. Okay, this is what my ideal customer persona is going to be. This is what my buyer or decision maker or influencer is going to be. Yes, do that, but you need to do a lot of field work into go into the market, talk to businesses, and push your idea and the product, and see that what kind of customer personas are actually reciprocating to you. So that's the first part. Second thing is you have to define your sales strategy and be ready to change it in 1 week. So it has so happened that last year when we started, we did a lot of things. Go via the product, do just the sales, what kind of different initiatives, which region, which customer persona. So we did not just lock in on one strategy. We kept adapting as the market gave us feedback, and that has finally gave us a lot of confidence and conversions this particular year. So be ready to first invest your time in the strategy, find the personas, find the messaging, find the way that you will, generate leads and qualify them, but be ready to adapt to it as soon as possible. Don't be the victim of, oh, I've put so much effort into it and why it is not working, and keep thinking over it. You always have to adapt, because at the end of the day, what the market or the user tells you, so that is the king, or that is the objective that you have to run with. So first thing is, validate the idea, the product, and take all the information that you can gather from your product and technology teams. Second is, when you go into the market, yes, have a strategy, but be ready to adapt to it. And the third thing I would say is, when it comes to the customers, be ready to do a lot of customizations. They will look at it as customizations for the first part, but very soon you will see that another customer is asking for it. And then you go back to your product team and tell them, hey, these are requirements that we are getting, and it will become a feature as well. So that is why you give your inputs to your product and technology teams back from the market happenings as well. So taking it in these steps. One last advice that I would give is with respect to marketing, and it may be a contrarian approach, I would say. We started and we still are not spending very heavy on marketing, but still we were able to generate initially the customer traction and then the revenues as well, because we could back up, once the conversation started, everything with our product and technology. What so happens in some cases is that startups have a lot of money, and that is where they focus majority of it towards marketing. And that's where you will get leads, you will get conversations. When it comes to actual conversions, that is where you will take a hit if your product or technology also is not at the same scale. So that is what I've observed.
Yeah, and I think that makes a ton of sense, specifically in the technology sector, right? Where if we're dealing with maybe like any sort of different industry, focusing on sales and marketing might make a little bit more sense first if you've either got an established product or you've got something that doesn't take a lot of customization, right? It's more or less like a one size fits all. But for you guys specifically, and for tech in general, I like that answer and that approach of focusing on the technology product team. As soon as you mentioned that meme, I can imagine the exact same one in my head, right? Where it's, hey, yeah, we're going to develop this in 2 months, but the sales team already sold it last week. So that, that's going to be fun to communicate to the team and everything like that. But I love that approach, and I love that answer. And I'm sure that anyone who's listening in, anyone who's kind of watching, will find a lot of value in that as they, if anybody's in a startup position, and will be able to kind of start things up and so on and so forth. So I really appreciate that. We're kind of coming up on time here, and I want to be respectful of that. Make sure that you can skate off to some other meetings. I know that you mentioned that you have during the day, but I want to give you just kind of like a couple minutes if you have any final questions, final statements, any other pieces of advice, anything like that you want to kind of say to sign some things off, Shiv. I'll kind of pass the floor over to you.
Yeah, so just one point, and this is not a sales pitch, but because you said that education awareness, we strongly believe practitioners need to know more on AI security. There are a lot of questions and clarifications they would have. So at AIShield, we take it as a separate exercise and concentrate towards it. So anybody can visit our website, which is www.boschaishield.com. And we also have a full documentation available with free trials, which is basically docs.boschaishield.com. So any practitioner out there who wants to know more on AI security, experience the product itself, we'll be very happy to provide all the answers. Just that, because we are very passionate, besides the startup that we are onto, the path we are onto, about AI security as the topic itself.
And for any of the listeners out there, I'll make sure that we have all the links kind of down in the description of the videos. That way, if anybody who's listening wants to go and check that out, anybody who's interested in AI or has an AI startup or an AI product, security is definitely something that you'll want to take a look at. So Shiv and his team are the people that you want to have a conversation with. So Shiv, thank you very much. And thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me today and getting a chance chance to chat for a little bit. It's great to meet you. It's great to hear kind of your approach to things, right? What it is that AIShield is doing, being a spinoff of Bosch 2022. I'll make sure that I remember that for next time. But, I really appreciate, all the answers, the insight that you gave, and I'm sure that the listeners will really appreciate that as well. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Chris,
Awesome.
and very happy to be here.